What's up, guys? Hayden Wayne 75 here, and I've got an interesting one for you today. Turns out, Concord is not dead yet. Now, we know there were some rumors that they may be reworking the game to see what they could come back with, and a lot of people are speculating free-to-play, stuff like that. But if you go to SteamDB and you look, right here, the last record update, 10th of October, and that is when I'm recording this video. So if we go down to the update history, look at this. 10 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 12 hours ago, yesterday, the 9th, the 8th, the 7th, the 6th, October 2nd. Look at this, guys. Now, I stumbled across this, and I found this article over here on 80 level. Concord is still under active development, SteamDB data suggests. And this sparked interest in me, so let's take a read through this real quick. It's not a real long one. The most disastrous AAA game of 2024 is not giving up that easily. When Sony and Firewalk Studios officially shut down Concord a month ago, many understandably assumed that the game, widely regarded as the worst of 2024 and one of the most disappointing AAA projects of all time, was gone for good, perceiving the developers' talk of exploring options and determining the best path ahead as nothing more than a typical corporate statement meant solely to appease the few thousand people who actually bought and played the infamous $50 to $400 million flop. I don't know why they phrased it like that, because we know this game was more than $50 million. If you factor in the amount that Sony also paid for Firewalk Studios, you're looking at closer to $600 million on a game that absolutely face-planted. It's a great find. Guys, it's only $1 in the bin. Go get your copy while you can. As hard as it may be to believe, given the game's disastrous reception, the small hint in the announcement suggesting the FPS's return appears to have been true, and Concord has indeed been slowly crawling its way back to the market, or out of the grave. Now, if you watched my video whenever Concord was pronounced dead, I said that it was possible that they could make a comeback, but it's highly unlikely. I said it was possible that they could be going to rework things, and it appears that that is the case. According to the latest findings on the game's SteamDB page, Concord has been receiving back-end updates daily since September 29th, with the last change list submitted on October 8th, around 2 p.m. UTC. And I just showed you guys that no, in fact, the most recent was multiple changes. If we go back over here real quick, we come up here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 changes just today that took place. While it's impossible to determine exactly what these changes involve or what aspects of the game Firewalk is working on, it's clear that the project, though officially retired, is not entirely dead and could one day make a comeback, hopefully as a free-to-play title that will have taken into account community feedback and revamped its uninspired gameplay, boring maps, and safe art design. I think that one of the biggest things that they would have to change in this is probably the character styles. Like, from the ground up, you're going to have to change that. I heard that the game was fairly boring from some. I heard that it was fairly fun from others. But at this point, the game has been memed into oblivion and turned into such a laughingstock that they're going to have to start with those characters if they have any hope of returning to market. So yeah, and here's a screenshot of the history from October 8th. What do you think of Concord's possible comeback? I'm going to say that I think it's likely going to come back, but it's going to be a flop. Would you be willing to give it another chance? Absolutely not. I didn't give it a chance in the first place. Why? Because of the characters. I was not interested. What should Firewalk focus on is to not become the subject of an industry-wide ridicule for the second time. So that's the thing, right? They became industry ridicule because not only did they have horribly ugly characters, but they were also trying to emulate a game that's dying on the vine as it is. As far as I know, there's not many people playing Overwatch 2 anymore, right? The the sequel to the most prolific hero shooter. And what's the reasoning for that? Well, the gameplay gets stale after a while, from what I understand. Now, I played the first Overwatch a little bit. It wasn't really my cup of tea. But they had the controversy of the character nerf for Tracer, right? They took Tracer's butt away, and that was the first kind of step in the downfall that started to proceed, because then they started to make some of the characters worse, they tweaked some of the gameplay, and they were upsetting their players. Now, this is a game that, when their development started, Overwatch was still a pretty big title. But at this point, there's no reason for them to try to continue. Now, likely, based on the amount of money that they spent on this game, they will try to come back, but personally, I think if they don't come up with some new interesting game modes, or have some way to make a hero shooter fun again, and also get rid of those awful character designs, they're not going to have a chance. They're going to have to redesign all of that stuff basically from the ground up. And rumors are that some of these updates are fairly large updates, so it's not just tweaks. Like, they're actively changing things, it appears, but who knows. We'll just have to wait and see. But there was one other little interesting thing that I did want to show you guys. If you go over to Steam charts, Concord is listed, and if we click on it, I've been getting this weird error every time I've tried. And it says it's an internal server error, but if you go to the main Steam charts page and you just say pick Throne and Liberty, right? That one seems to load fine. Grand Theft Auto 5 loads fine. But for some reason, Concord can't get anything. Like I said, it looks like they're coming back. So what do you guys think? Is there any way that they can crawl out of the grave on this one? Because I personally don't think it's possible. I don't think anybody would want to be in any way tied to this game after the flop that happened. But, again, I do see a path that if they go through and they change the characters and maybe come up with some new, innovative, interesting, fun gameplay, they could get a small spike in people playing, but you know that they're going for that free-to-play money with season passes and stuff like that. It's an uninspired slop, as it is right now. But I guess we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, please. Make videos occasionally, and just whenever I find something interesting. So thank you guys for checking this one out, and I'll see you in the next one.